The holiday season is upon us. The snow's falling. The trees are decorated with lights. And the children wait for Santa to bring gifts. But what if instead, something far more sinister was headed to your door? A horned beast with chains and birch branches, and a large sack to carry you away. This is Krampus, the terrifying companion to St. Nicholas that parents warn children about. But who or what is Krampus, really? In this video, we uncover the truth behind this dark holiday legend, its roots, its purpose, and why even today, Krampus still haunts the season. So are you ready to meet Santa's twisted shadow? Welcome to Cryptid Crossings. I'm Brian. If you're new here, this is the place where we explore the unexplained, uncovering the truth behind the creatures and the legends from all across the world. And today we're diving into the legend of Krampus, one of the most chilling Christmas myths that's haunted the Alpine region for generations. So grab some cocoa, settle down, but don't get too comfortable, because Krampus isn't here to spread holiday cheer. So let's start from the beginning. Where did Krampus come from? Why does he have such a twisted role in the holiday season? Now, it may seem strange that Krampus, this terrifying horned figure, is connected to the jolly old elf known as Santa Claus. But in traditional Alpine folklore, Krampus wasn't just a standalone entity. He was actually partners with St. Nicholas. Kind of a good cop, bad cop in a holiday kind of way. So on December 5th, the night before St. Nicholas Day, Krampus would roam the streets, looking for misbehaving children to punish, while St. Nick handed out gifts to the good ones. So in this balance, St. Nick represents the warmth and the generosity that we traditionally associate with Christmas, while Krampus embodies the darker side of the season, the punishment, the discipline, and a reminder of what happens when we stray from the right path. But what's really intriguing about this dynamic is the balance it brings to the Christmas season. Nowadays, we often think of Christmas as a time of joy and celebration. But in older traditions, it was also a time of fear, when darkness and the unknown were as present as ever. And the partnership between Krampus and St. Nick reflects that duality perfectly. Reward and punishment, light, shadow, safety and danger. Think about it. While Santa brings gifts to the kids that are on the nice list, Krampus punishes the ones on the naughty list, sometimes in the most terrifying ways. He would carry children off in his sack, just like Santa brings toys in his. And it's just an eerie mirror image. And it makes you wonder, could Krampus be the shadow version of Santa? A reminder that even in a season of joy, there's a darker side lurking. And it's interesting how many cultures have embraced both sides, keeping St. Nicholas as the figure of hope and goodness, while acknowledging the darker, cautionary presence of Krampus. They do say you can't have light without darkness, and this folklore is the perfect embodiment of that. It's the ultimate crossing between warmth and fear, a true cryptid tale wrapped in holiday traditions. And this partnership's evolved over the years, but in some Alpine regions, the two still show up together, walking through the streets. I mean, imagine being a kid in these towns. One moment you're getting sweets from St. Nicholas, and then the next you see Krampus lurking, just ready to deal with those that have been bad. It's a reminder that folklore has a way of keeping us on our toes, especially when it comes to celebrating the holidays. So what do you think? Do you think it's good to keep a bit of fear in the holiday traditions? Let me know in the comments below. To understand Krampus, we have to journey deep into the heart of the Austrian and Bavarian Alps, where snowy peaks guard century-old traditions and the birthplace of this dark legend. Krampus is more than just a holiday monster. He's a symbol of ancient fears and beliefs. You see, centuries ago in the Alpine regions, the winter was the most dangerous time. Survival itself was uncertain, and people believed that malevolent spirits just roamed freely through the darkness. And Krampus was one of them. In those days, he was the embodiment of the dangers of winter. The long dark nights, the bitter cold, and the need to stay together, to stay safe. The name Krampus actually comes from the German word Krampen, which means claw. He was the one that came when you strayed too far from the warmth of the fire, when you dared to misbehave. As Christianity spread across Europe, the church realized it wouldn't be able to erase these older beliefs. Instead of getting rid of Krampus, he became part of St. Nicholas's story, a sinister partner that would deal with the children who hadn't behaved that year. And thus, the legend of Krampus as we know it began. A companion to St. Nicholas, balancing reward with punishment. While St. Nicholas was a kind and generous figure, Krampus was his shadow, the dark enforcer. Where St. Nicholas rewarded the good, Krampus punished the bad. Traditionally, Krampus is bound in chains, and this is said to symbolize the subservience to the Christian church, a way to bind the once wild spirit to a more tamer role in the holiday tradition. He carries a bundle of birch branches to swat the naughty children. On cold winter nights, as the wind howls outside and the snow piles up, the parents tell their children, "Behave or Krampus is going to come." Another way for parents to keep children in line during those cold, harsh winter months. Much like if you think about the legend of the Wampus Cat in the Appalachian region, keep them out of the woods at night. But Krampus wasn't just a bedtime threat. He was very real to the people that celebrated these traditions. In fact, the Krampusnacht, or Krampus Night, still happens today, where people dress up as Krampus to haunt the streets. Let's take a look at how this ancient figure has been transformed in our modern world. Imagine a cold December evening in the Austrian Alps. The air is thick with anticipation. Suddenly you hear the clamor of bells and the stomping of hooves. And it's not Santa's reindeers. It's Krampusnacht, the night when Krampus, the terrifying companion to St. Nicholas, takes to the streets. Krampusnacht is celebrated on December 5th, the night before St. Nicholas Day, in many parts of Austria, Germany, and the Alpine regions. During this night, people dress up as Krampus, donning horns, shaggy fur, and terrifying masks, roaming through the streets, rattling chains and playfully scaring onlookers. These celebrations have become a spectacle of both fear and fun. Traditionally, Krampus was meant to scare children into good behavior. Imagine being a kid and seeing that lurking in the darkness. But now these Krampus parades have become beloved community events, drawing crowds from all over who want to see this ancient Christmas monster in action. But Krampus didn't just stay in the Alpine regions. In recent years, he's found a home in modern pop culture. One of the most famous interpretations is the 2015 film Krampus, which brought the creature into the mainstream, and it's a great watch if you can catch it. It portrayed Krampus as this twisted enforcer of holiday cheer, punishing a family for their lack of holiday spirit. And then the holiday greeting cards, known as Krampuskarten, popular across Germany and Austria. They feature Krampus chasing and punishing children, usually depicted with a mix of humor and fear. And these were a reminder for kids to behave, or else the dreaded Krampus would come for them. Who would have thought this century-old punisher of naughty children would end up right next to Santa as kind of an anti-hero of the season? Now when people send Krampus-themed Christmas cards, it's not a warning anymore, it's more of kind of a quirky holiday greeting. But what is it about Krampus that still captures our imagination today? It could be that he represents that primal side of winter that we can't tame. The cold, the darkness, the fear of what's lurking in those shadows. But Krampus is very much like the cryptids that we've talked about here before. Figures from folklore that are meant to explain the unknown, to give a face to our fears, and perhaps to keep us in line. The connection between folklore and fear runs deep, and these stories continue to shape the way we see the world today. So I want to know, have any of the viewers ever been to a Krampus parade? Or is there some weird local holiday legend that you remember from when you were growing up? Drop your stories in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the darker side of the holidays, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've got more strange and spooky tales to explore. And as always, stay curious. You never know what lurks in the shadows, even during the most festive time of the year.